All right. Good morning, good day. This is the African Crypto Warlord. I hope you guys are doing well. We're currently looking at BitShit on the 1 minute. And we're going to start off with the crypto challenge. I'll give you guys an update on that. And once we've done that, we will run into an analysis on the way down. I'm guessing this is maybe standard level 2 of daily mean reversion. Bitcoin's coming in, a little bit of a wake up above orange line, holds above here. We're going to look for some serious continuation. So I'd expect a pullback, and this is where you have to start holding above. Okay, so that is on any given exchange. You could look at it as 63,640. Cool. Let's see where price action is. When we get back to this, if it fails, I would be expecting about $60 move down. If it holds, there's some seriously good upside targets to be had. You guys unloaded. Some seriously good upside targets to be had, which we'll define on the 7-day Laplace distribution and the 15-minute distribution. There's one other thing that I do need here. Sorry, I forgot to do. Is the ultimate power is USDT dominance. Okay, so this is taking forever to load, but we'll get back to it. Let's just do this challenge here. So the last time I left off with you guys would have been about $840. And every day I've been trading has been about in the beginning was about a 4-hour session, and I've been able to push them out to about 8 hours, 10 hours worth of trading. So when I'm doing like a 6-hour plus session, I really am looking for about 4% or more per day worth of scalps. So you can start off here. It was 857, 867, 895. That's a 3.2% that day. 2.4 the next. Shitty day, 1.5%. I remember that day. Never let it happen again. Still more than my daily 1% target, but I would like 2% days or more. Another 2%. That was 2%. A lot of 2% days. And then you'll see when I started to crack the code. And then we have 4%. All right. So these are pretty much each day after each other. In a week, I was maybe making 20 to 25% in a good week. Average week would have been about 15% gain. And yeah, we just carry on smoking up. It broke the $1,000 mark. This is roughly about 2xing that count from here. Coming next, this will be about the 2x region. $1,500 account makes a huge difference in comparison to a $585 account. The dollars stack up a lot faster. And then, yeah, we just didn't let off until we pushed it into the 2000s. You see some good days here. I think 6.41, the one above this will be 6.8. All right, that was a really good day. These 6% days are beautiful. I've got nothing against them. And I think there should be a 7% day here somewhere. But we don't have to worry about that. Okay, so let's get into that challenge. It will be ended off on the screen on my Twitter profile. Might be shit for you guys to see, but I'm sitting at about $2,150. I've been currently being banned from MEX for the last 14 days, but given I'm making more 1% a day when I do trade, I've been able to get a very good leniency out. So that would be the target for this month: April, May, June, July. So that's April, May, June, July. I'm about $800 ahead of it for July 20th. So I'm sitting around about here, which is September's number already. If you sat through this bullshit, hopefully I'm going to give you some decent answers. Is Bitcoin going up? Is Bitcoin going down? Is it range bound? We're going to start from the 90-day and drop it down. So that's cool. I don't want to expose that just yet. I want a USDT dominance. So we can pull up direction off of USDT dominance. Obviously, these coins will be incorrect for this. Yeah, internet, you have just messed with me right now for no damn reason. Make that big screen Sorry for taking your time. That would have been 1 minute. On my varies on, they will load. Okay, cool. That is 15-minute is caught in contracting, was positively correlated. It's losing its strength to the downside, but it's still a downside target. There is a mean reversion target for 5.04% sometime this week and 5.10%. We'll crush these targets. Let's start from the high term time frames. Okay, high term time frames is the 90-day. If we open this up big, we can see that even though we have a up candle from about 3 days ago worth of 90-day print, it hasn't turned around the 90-day VRE. I would be expecting this thing to catch like a bullish posturing if Bitcoin starts to close above 64,600. So that'd be my long-term line in the sand. Okay, that's still another 86 days away, you could say. Sorry. So that's about 86 days away for that 90-minute to seem valid. 45-day has also pretty much printed about 3 days ago. What can we see here? We can see contraction in volatility was negatively correlated equals positive drift. Now, any closes above this orange line here, hopefully it'll show up. That's giving us the candle. Don't do that. Any closes above this orange line here on the top right, 63,165. It does have the opportunity to push for 64,303. Furthermore, that's its topside target. This would be my range if I was super sensitive, whatever that orange line number was that I called. I should actually, that will give me it 63,111. Let's just call it that. All right. Close below 63,111. DLP still carries on mean reverting down. RO carries on mean reverting down. And the correlation moves into negative drift. Currently, it's losing its upside posturing. Given this is a gray candle, I do know that it is rather pivoty. So this is a long-term pivot. We don't really get a lot of gray candles, at least on these higher term time frames. So if it was to close here, it would be pretty rare. As you can see here, that's a gray candle, and it's got decent price action that it needs to fight out against for the next trend to carry on. Okay, so that's the 45-day. Let's look into the 21-day. We can delete that. So the 21-day is pretty much 50-50. We have DLP mean reverting down, lost its trend to the upside, did bounce off our reverse wave tendies perfectly on both retail level and institutional level 21-day mean reversion. Hold above here. Sure, we can consider it bullish, but it really has to start pushing through said red line in order to touch that orange line. Will it give me it? It's not going to give me it. Okay, so that is 66,493. And he closes below this number here. I am still bearish to the downside, given this has 6 days and 6 hours to print a new 21-day. Has hit an outlier. This is that outlier on the RO over here. So you hold above here, it will naturally tick positive. This is, to me, how I look at this is it's a hidden bull div play in the sense that my longer term DLP is above the mean, whilst my shorter term is below. And if we can hold above this reverse wave tendy over here, I do look for that to tick up. I do look for that to tick up. And we'll just have to see what volatility on this time frame has to say once it is printed. Currently it's 50-50. If it wasn't, it would more than likely have retraced all the way up or dumped all the way through. So this is quite an interesting level, as some of the other guys that I'm teaching volatility trading to for free, because I have another 14 days of doing fuck all. This is one of those areas that I put one of those horizontal lines on, observe it every day. Okay, what have we got here? We've got an up candle coming through. We do have hidden bull div on the RO going into regular div. DLPs, that's the signature I'd be looking at on the 21-day. If we can close above said red line, is this play coming through here? Problem is volatility is expanding whilst both PCs are negative. So initially off this brand new 14-day, that's only about 12, 18 hours old. I'd be looking for failures at 64,248. Any candle closes below here or any price action below here, I'm technically still bearish, given it has had a nice little rip, but we are looking at longer term time frames. Okay, closes above here, closes above this red GMA, should have the ability to flip this PC into expansion mode, and then its limit is 69,345. Okay, a lot of price action being played around with here. We can super zoom this section here as immediate failure. Let's say there is someone who panics out. 63,176 would be the bounce region that I'd be looking for. And if we remember these numbers, you'll see that we have daily, weekly targets down there that remain untouched for the day. So this is a little bit of a front run in my eyes of today's current price action. Okay, 7-day Laplace distribution, volatility is contracting, whilst PC is negatively correlated, equals positive drift. It's on a random walk, so we are expecting small candles up. If it can hold this signature, it's also a gray pivot region here. If it does start to get green, where do I see it being limited off? 64,208, maybe a wick into 65,043. Let's just take a longer term look back here, a longer term bias off the 7-day. Hold above this blue line. You initially want to charge for the white line. We have reverse wave tendies crossing in on one of our probability cones. So yes, there will be liquidity here. Given that 90-day is still negative, I would look at this as a possible setup. If we do move another 5 grand, I look at this as a possible setup in the longer term time frames as a lower high. So that will be something to observe. And if there's a lower high here, I'm sure we'll be able to pull off a hidden bear div or something like that, given this is going to be a serious move up. Your line in the sand for the 7-day would be 65,770. That's its initial target. There is some liquidity sitting here. Maybe some scalps to the upside if it is bullish. This only remains in a bullish posturing for the next 7 days if the candles are closing above 63,370. So it closes above there, I would remain bullish. Closes below here, I look for serious downside targets to about 56. Furthermore, you fail this blue line. Obviously, it's very wicky, but you fail this blue line. As soon as you start failing that blue line, you start pulling out this target. If you fail here, you start pulling out this target. So no bounce here. That's the target. And 7-day cone weekly mean reversion is at 45,127. Whew. Okay. Hold above this orange line. Look for a touch to 86 grand. Okay. I am expecting a lower high here. I do have other targets. Okay, so that's a 7-day with some positive drift, keeping this going. What's this? Okay, so we're going to just try and quantify some data here. This is the 7-day Laplace distribution with drift. So we're looking at the top right-hand side of this analysis right now. That is 65,964. As you can see, within this region, we have on the far left here, that red line is pretty much at this cross here. So there's a lot of liquidity building up here. Maybe it's the first initial scalp back down to see if we can hold above these orange lines if it does get there. Your breakout into this region is pretty much dictated at 64,259. Whew, calling out the numbers here, but if I say the dollar number, it is a significant point of price that I would take action at. Okay, now 7-day RO is looking like it wants to pretty much push through to the upside here with a mean reversion play. What can we say? So we're going to match this 7-day RO up to this orange line here. BTC closes this 7-day above 63,403. I would look for continuation to the upside. Starts closing below here, I look for it to get denied. Carry on being red. So that would be my 7-day line in the sand if this was to pump. 63,418 on Poloniex. Okay, 5-day is expanding, sort of in a pump mode. Obviously, the candles are going up. You can see that there's some orange lines coming into play right here. This is the 5-day, pretty much reverse wave tendy, catching this current pump on the 5-day candle. Okay, closes above said orange line here, which it's actually perfectly at right now. Closes above there will allow 5-day DLP and RO to carry on playing through to the upside. And same target, 65 to 2017 being the cap. Maybe in the next 5 days, we will have a zone of liquidity. So in the next 2 days and 5 hours, you'll have a cross happening here, and a zone of liquidity will be building at $67,500. So there is another opportunity for a lower high, even though it can rally. That's quite a big rally, $3,500, or about maybe $4,000. Yeah, there's zones of liquidity for shorts building up here, and if you play the game of Nokia 3310, you will have a fun time. 6 hour, I'm guessing that will be around about 15. Okay, so 3 hour, let me just do a quick run through. No volatility, that is contracting, also negatively correlated. Small candles up, losing correlation, 50-50. That is dump, that is contracting, that is small candles up. That is up, but losing correlation to the upside, as we can see, at least on the 5-day. If it holds above here, might have some more juice. 3-day is technically in a pump mode, but it's a random walk, so I'm more than likely expecting a scalp this week from about this price action. If it wants to get brave in the next 3-day print in 4 hours and 53 minutes, it could push up into this mean here at 64,663. Okay, so 64,663. Close above there. That will allow mean reversion to actually play through. Start closing below here. The 3-day is going to get absolutely hammered, as the PCs have been hanging around in this positive phase for a while. But because there's an expansion in volatility, I'm going to be guessing that the volatility will carry on expanding, but the PCs will flick negative, thus backing the 14-day dump mode as it moves into the same signature. Okay, here's the 24-hour. Nice. 24-hour and the 5-day reverse wave tendies, capping it out quite nicely. Contracting, also negatively correlated, equals positive drift up. Here being the problem, at least on a 24-hour, we can see, oh, this is going to be quite dirty play. There's going to be a lot of signal processing to be had. But the easiest signal to currently see here is the fact that we're closing below this reverse wave tendy. Our RO is outside of its limits, wanting to cross back in. So the next candle technically has to be about double the size, 700. So the next candle, in order to keep this thing bullish, at least on the 21-day, is going to have to be $1,400 pump. And yeah, that puts you into no man's land, or pretty much, or actually not, into this mean reversion area here at about $1,400 pump to keep it bullish. There is an opportunity for a trend to happen from here, but the only reason that trend will happen is if it closes above 63,600. So any closes below there, I would remain scalping to the downside, more than likely zone of liquidity here. And if I'm trading this like I would on the 1 minute, I'd be brave enough to hold it to 60,376. Bounce at 62,063. All right. Quick observations there. 12-hour. I need to delete that. You should have deleted across the whole exchange. Okay, so this is actually now moving into a sneaky pump mode. If it can hold above this ultimate power mean, both are in the same place, which is pretty good. Hold above this ultimate power mean, this thing will allow itself to remain in trend. Obviously, we have the 24-hour, which is pretty much about $50 higher than this. A lot of squeeze here. You'll see when we get to the VREs and the low term time frames what levels are holding it up. All right. 56,000, if you can see that, 383 is untouched target to the downside. We will validate that later. So there's a little bit of range to be had here. I'm going to say this: if the 12-hour candle can hold above 63,516, you will have the 24-hour DLP allow it to mean revert above. So hold above these orange, that gets the push through, and that's about the only time you're going to get that $1,400 move you would need in order to keep this in a bullish posturing for a longer time. Let's get into the 6-hour here. 6-hour, not so much data around these regions, just hanging around at a JMA. Fail this JMA, we look for a quick scalp back down 63,123. Furthermore, zones of liquidity have been building at 61.73. This thing is in a pump mode, but it's losing its trend to the upside. That is a down candle, even though it is green. Mean reversion from here. So any closes are below the 24-hour and the 12-hour levels that we have dictated. That allows for the 6-hour to push it back down. All right, so Bitcoin is quite a pivotal region right now. 3-hour contracting, whilst negatively correlated, but losing correlation. So this pump might be coming to an end. Your only hopium, I'd say, for the month currently, we aren't so far away from it, but the new monthly mean did print, and that's sitting at 64,414. As we've pulled those general targets out on these higher term timeframes, that is the monthly magnet. Problem, though, is if we were to look for a bearish case, we'll turn that off, is there's a daily that's been printed that remains untouched. So it was front run on Sunday. There's a daily that remains untouched down here at 62,183. And we are at we're at the daily +2 level. And long story short, you have more of an opportunity closing below that thing than you do above. And if it does, you'll have a monthly target. So if you close above 63,000, just call it 650, you do look for a long potentially to 64,403. It's quite a big move. That is about the $1,000 move that you would get off of that DLP on the 24-hour mean reverting up. Okay, closes below here. I do look for it to try and touch 62,183. Furthermore, maybe by Wednesday, if it does start failing lower, I would look for a 61,528. Given that this is the 3-hour and in about another 6 hours, 5 hours and 30 minutes-ish, we will have a new daily VRE print, and there will be a bounce zone sitting somewhere here at about 62,888, roughly, if the price stays where it is until close. Okay, 45-minute. Beautiful 45-minute contracting volatility was positively correlated. That's sort of what's helping put in the top here. RO is suggesting downwards pressure bears should start piling on. Yeah, makes sense. 15-minute, this is USD dominance. 15-minute is now mean reverting on the DLP. So if I'm scalping this, I make sure that I only scalp long. Or it's a lot easier to scalp long spot when this thing is red. So the easy trades for the bulls are now starting to diminish. We have US dominance trying to push back up, back into its daily VRE mean. So we come back to this thing, on at least that doesn't really matter where they are, but that yellow line here, 62,183, you'll more than likely find as US dominance starts to push to the upside here at 5.04. Bitcoin will more than likely start to slide down here to 62,194. It's more than likely exactly 1 minute difference between the times each opposing candle touch. How does that strategy work? US dominance goes up, USDT dominance goes up, Bitcoin goes down. US dominance goes down, Bitcoin goes up. Pretty simple. It's also nice to have counter levels. And as US dominance has the opportunity to push up through here quite nicely, let's say it does hold about 5.4%, you are looking at 5.11%. Any untouched targets in the local? No, its monthly is down here. So I think Bitcoin is going to actually be rather range bound. And I'm guessing that by the end of this new month that's just started today, we're going to be stuck below, what is this number? On a good time, we're going to be, that actually might be a bit far out. I'm expecting a lower high to be put in somewhere here in this region. Okay, 69,851. If it is bullish enough to even get there, there's obviously a whole bunch of targets I can get through. So that's just looking at the 5-day going to there. Okay, so this is Laplace distribution. As you can see, Bitcoin has been blown out of the Laplace distribution cone. And the general observation is if it blows itself out here without these AVP, AVR flashes all coming in green again, which means zero volatility, through this move, I'd be expecting a failure outside of the cone. If it's bullish in the next 24 hours, then yeah, sure, it could get up here. But if it fails this region, I'm looking for serious downside targets, at least on a 15-minute, to at the other side of the monthly here at 56. This is a daily level to keep observation on, 57. That's the previous monthly level at 58. All right, if it does push through into that yellow, I do expect a failure there and try and pull back into 61,554. Any failures below here, I do look for 62,178. More than likely, as this is not coming into the data set, is this region here, $61,540. Whew. Okay, 5 minute, not that it's going to make too much of a difference. Might get a little pop, but would have to use the other term timeframes to decipher that. That's an up signal, did gap up, so it's going to be very sensitive data. So 3 minutes, saying 3 minutes is again in 50-50. Not so good. There's some DLP mean reversion here. Zone of liquidity, VRE on. Zone of liquidity is pretty much being built in between a monthly level and a daily level. So if you do bounce off here, it's about 63,470. Last little bit of a push, maybe up into here. Fail this line, any one of these orange lines back down. So this could be quite a pivotal time for Bitcoin. Contracting was positive correlated, push down more. And this is what the screen I use to scalp on. So if I'm trading the 1 minute, this is what I'll be trading. General observations from here, as we can relate this to the higher term time frames. Failure below the orange, I do look for continuation down. This is all three of them are in dump mode, and it looks like my internet fucked out. If you guys find this information helpful, please do like and subscribe. There'll be Discord links below. One to my private channel, private Discord. You can ask whatever you want. And the second to Alpha Trading Tools, where you guys will pretty much get access to a strategy that is similar to the one that you have here for free. You'll give them your TradingView name and the support tickets. And yeah, you get to learn the rules of volatility. So right now it's contracting, or it's positively correlated. It's going to push it down. Contracting was positively correlated equals negative drift. Small candles down. All right, and as soon as the next print comes in or whatever it is, the rule could change. Either or. So yeah, if you found this information helpful, please do like and subscribe. African Crypto Warlord out. Much power. Stay fucking wow.